Science and communication are often perceived as old enemies, and it all boils down to 7 ideas.
7 wrong ideas.
First idea. Science speaks to your brain.
But communication speaks to your heart.
Science is built on logical deductions. It doesn't matter whether you love your theory or not. It can be invalidated if new evidence shows up.
Whereas communication is all about emotions. For instance, we know that the incentive for people to buy this car is emotional, definitely not rational.
Of course, there's more to science than mere rationality. And there is more to communication than emotions.
We all have one head and one heart, and they don't need to fight.
The second idea is about overthinking.
Or not thinking at all.
Scientists are paid to think all day long.
All digital communicators have read this book called Don't Make Me Think. Actually, the book tells you not to make things more complicated than they need to be.
Fair enough. Explaining the basic idea behind a scientific concept shouldn't be as complicated as the concept itself. Third idea. Science is about facts, and communication is about seduction.
I once met an astrologist who told me that she had a degree in psychology but couldn't make a living out of it because she wasn't telling people what they wanted to hear. It is true that science doesn't care about what you want to hear, whereas communication always tries to make things look good.
But choosing the best angle should not mean ignoring the facts. Angles and facts can be compatible.
The challenge is to find a good angle to turn the facts into a story the audience will relate to. Fourth idea. Doubts versus trust.
Science is about refutation. Doubt is what fuels science. Theories are constantly challenged. This is how science improves itself.
Whereas communication is a matter of trust above all. Take branding, for instance. It is about turning something very common into something unique and meaningful to you.
It's like the story of the fox and the little prince. Once a bond has been created, the brand becomes like a friend. But this representation of science and communication is at the border of caricature. There is trust in science. Teams work together and build knowledge upon previous results.
And there is doubt in communication. Double-blind tests inspired by clinical trials are mainstream nowadays. The fifth idea needs some explaining. Communication is natural to human beings, but the rational thinking that science requires is not.
Science is somehow unnatural. It talks about things beyond your intuition, things that we cannot always see nor understand.
Communication, on the other hand, in its broadest sense, is what has allowed us to live together, understand each other, and build a culture that transcends generations. It is hardwired in all social beings.
So finally, science and communication have not much in common.
But they are complementary.
Science is based on doubt, and it helps produce knowledge.
Communication is based on trust, and it helps share this knowledge.
Another common feature of our species is our curiosity. Where do we come from? Why are we here? And why 42?
Throughout history, we have placed our trust in the people with answers. The wise, the elders, the priests. Nowadays, the old figures of authority have lost their luster. So we had to invent new ones. The experts.
In popular representations, the expert is a middle-aged male scientist wearing a white lab coat. He looks sciencey, but this is not science.
The trouble with experts is that we want them to be omniscient. So sometimes they feel like they need to provide an answer, even when the only honest answer is, I don't know.
And most scientists have no training in communication, and I don't really want to endorse this role.
Whereas communication professionals know that people crave for answers, and they just go out of their way to provide some. Rarely by asking the proper questions.
So for now, let's agree we need more science in communication and more communication in science.
Seventh and last idea. Science is serious and perceived as boring, whereas communication is fun.
Your stereotypical scientist is an old lonely genius. the very definition of boring, unless a mad scientist enters the scene, and only then is science supposed to be fun. But this is a cliché. Did you know that 3 out of 10 scientists are women?
On average, the age for a PhD graduation is 32.
Also, scientists work in teams. Moreover, science is only boring because people made it boring. Science is full of extraordinary and incredible things. Octopuses changing colour, black holes colliding, etc.
And we know how communication is perceived, like a never-ending party. But what about reality? Employees in communication agencies work office hours in front of a screen. The art of drawing attention and building trust might seem easy, but it's not.
Maybe the time has come to get rid of these stupid stereotypes. Science is a serious thing, but it can be communicated with fun. The trick is never to underestimate your audience's intelligence and never overestimate their knowledge. In English-speaking countries, the concept is called popular science.
In French-speaking countries, science is not quite as popular yet. The weird thing is that people love science. The demand is there, but the supply has been failing for a long time.
But things are changing.
Blogs, podcasts, conferences, science cafes and meetups, YouTube and even communication agencies led by science enthusiasts are now major actors in this extraordinary conversation. The way is open for science to become popular. Now, of all times, is the best moment for science and communication to work hand in hand.